In this video, I want to show you the exact meta ads creative testing structure that we're using at my agency at the minute. So that is how we design the creative strategy, what kind of ads we're going to use, how they relate to the product. The competitor research is going to inform a lot of those decisions, research on the actual product itself, and then how you build out and structure that creative testing campaign and then continue the creative testing campaign as you go, because you need to constantly be putting in new creatives and constantly testing. So a little quote from David Ogilvy: never stop testing and your advertising will never stop improving. And that guy is considered the father of advertising. So this is the structure that we're going to go through in this video in a decent amount of detail, which will hopefully give you the tools that you need to then actually improve your creative testing, get the most out of your ads, and ultimately get results for either yourself or your clients. I've seen this process recover so many ad accounts that have either given up or they've tried about 5 different agencies and they just can't get results. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, we just come in, implement this process, and then within a month or two, the results are 10 times better, if not more. So the first point that we're going to look at is know your product. I've never seen anyone really go into this, which I think is probably the most important thing for you as a business owner or a media buyer. So actually know the product, know what you're selling, know what customers feel about it, know who is actually buying the product. So with this step, the first thing that we're going to look at is something like a marketing fact find or a questionnaire, which either, if it's your business, do this yourself. If you're the media buyer, get the business owner to do this and be as detailed as they can. And this is essentially where you're going to find out all the key information that you need to know, from basic stuff like what product are we advertising, where can we advertise it, what the business owner actually thinks are the unique selling points of that product. And it's a good place to get all of the core information that you need so you can then develop creatives that actually relate to the product, relate to the customer, etc. So I'll include this in the link in the description so anyone can go and have a look or use it. And we're just going to go through stuff like what's the top selling product, describe the product, unique selling points of either the company or the product. It might be a service that you're offering. Target audience, obviously important, who you can target. Is it UK only? Is it worldwide? Is it America? Is it a small area within a country? So obviously you need to know that. And then you're going to look at ideal customer profiles, who's actually buying the product currently. This is all basic bottom of the process stuff, which is the foundation, which will make the difference between ad campaigns that just don't work and get crap results and campaigns that actually have longevity and start to grow businesses. Then we're going to go into competitor analysis, and this will factor in further down the process that we're going through. And that's just asking either yourself, if it's your business, or your client, who are your known competitors that are on a similar level, and then also who are, the biggest in this industry, who can we look to and aspire to and steal ads from ultimately. How the company is different or how the product is different from competitors. Again, all of this is going to tie into our creative decisions when we're making the actual ads. Strengths and weaknesses, so on, benefits. I'll let you go through all of this stuff in your own time, but it's fairly straightforward and basic at that level. So you do the marketing fact find questionnaire, you answer all of those questions in as much detail as you can. And the takeaway knowledge from that is going to be which product are you advertising, which is the best variation of that product, price, unique selling points, features, benefits, competitors, all the stuff that we just went through. So this is, so many people skip this step and they're just like, I kind of know what the product is, like it's a hairbrush. We're selling it to women who want better hair, and it does, and they just skip this whole know your product thing. And if you do that, you're never going to create ads that actually convert well, because you don't understand the product. And again, the customer is equally important, if not more important, than the product. So the next step in the process is knowing the customer. So to do this, you're going to go and look at competitor reviews. So competitors who are doing well and they've got a lot of reviews. You're going to go and look at the product reviews if it's a specific product that you're advertising. See what customers like about the product, what they dislike about the product, what are the common themes in there. Are they always talking about the fact that it's expensive? Are they always talking about the fact that it's breaking? So you're going to do that for competitors, and you're going to do that for your own product or your client's product, to really start to live with the product and the customer and sort of enter the world of, all of the idiosyncrasies of that specific niche product with that specific group of customers you want to really get in there and just spend a bit of time with it, live with it, so you understand exactly who's buying the product, what the product is, and how you as a marketer can then insert yourself into that market in a way that's not going to seem alien or overly salesy or just obviously be an ad, which is obviously going to be ineffective. So takeaway knowledge from that, customer pain points. Remember, this is all creative testing process set up. So this is all going to influence the creatives that you ultimately make. So you're going to know the customer pain points at this point, what customers like, dislike, objections, things that they might dislike about the competitor, which you can play on with ads. This will all give you creative ideas for how you're going to develop these ads. All of this stuff, I would generally put this into a document, list it all out, and the more time you spend with this knowledge and information about customers and the product, the more you will intuitively start to have more creative freedom with the ads when you get to the ad stage. After that, we're going to go into competitor ads research. So I've actually got a template here that we use for our agency. So this is the creative strategy template. I'll include this in the description as well. So it's going to be intro, objectives, how we're going to try and reach customers, etc. And then, as we saw from the stages, we're going to then go on to competitor ads research. So this is where you're going to look at the market impact find, you're going to look at the competitor analysis, and here your client should have listed at least a few competitors that they know about. You're then going to go and research more competitors because they will never know all of them. There might be more that are similar level to them. They might just know the big ones, and you don't want to just copy the big guys. So you're going to go through, do that, and then for about 3 or 4 competitors, you're going to go into the ads library, look at the kind of ads that they're running, how long they've been running for, to get an idea of what's working well. If it's been running for a few months, 5 months, 3 months even, it's probably doing decent. So you're going to look at and list the styles of ads that they're running. So for example, in this template, we've got video ads, carousel ads, and you're going to just go through this methodically with the competitors, so to give you an idea of what that would look like in a finished creative strategy. So we've got, here's a competitor, so the competitor is Slip, and then you've got info here. Slip are running 22 ads on Facebook, longest running ad campaigns for the Silk pillowcase. Recently they've launched a big campaign for Silk scrunchies, and then just all the information that you are going to need to have in your head to be free with the creatives when you get into designing it, and actually design creatives that are interesting, different, and have more of a chance of actually achieving the goal, which is either sales or it might be lead generation, depends what it is. So you go through this template, complete it. Here's some other styles of ads that this competitor's using. Social proof. So they're using Vogue, they're listing brands that they've been associated with. And then we've got press hit ads, more of the same, strategists, people, etc. listing bigger brands to give them that social proof element, and then UGC style, etc. And then we'll go through this again for another competitor. So this one is Blissy, and we'll see they're doing features point out style stuff, more features point out style stuff, us versus them stuff, and then UGC as well. And then I think that's it for those competitors, and more ads there. So you go through that, you can literally just fill it in the template, but spending time on it, actually going through those competitors, you will just start to absorb that information of what works in this market, what doesn't work in this market, and you'll start to get a better idea of what kind of creative tests you want to actually run. Takeaway from that is obviously going to be competitors' best ad, style, angle, offer, messaging. You're going to be looking at the ad copy and stuff like that as well. And then that will inform your next step, which will be the ad design itself. So we'll get into ad design in this one, for example. So this is an old client of ours, which is a motorbike mesh riding suit. Obviously we did the competitor analysis, all of that stuff, and then we had to go and look at the ads themselves. So we wanted to know from the competitor research analysis, what are other big companies in this industry selling similar products doing? How do their ads look? We went through audience reviews, and for motorbike riders in the UK, they're very interested in specific features. So when you're selling riding gear or protective gear, they want to know what grade of protection it is, what's the material made out of, what's the abrasion resistance, what's the impact resistance. So naturally, features point out, we found in competitors was a massive style of ad that was being used consistently and long term. So we designed these style ads, which again shows the suit, shows some key points that people in this demographic are going to be interested in. And we've even got little background stuff that just sort of shows the an image that would be familiar to them of a nice open road to ride along. Then we're looking at messaging style ads for this one. So we did just, this is where we're going to look at specific headlines or quotes, something that stands out to them as they're looking at the suit. So we've got how it looks versus how it feels. So one of the things that we came across with this specific product is that it's a mesh suit, as you can see written in massive letters there. So the whole point of this is that it's protection, but it's also breezy. And looking at customer reviews, we found that a lot of the complaints they had from competitors and other companies in the market with similar protective gear is that the more protective they are, the less breathable they are. So if you're riding in the summer, it's just super hot. So this particular angle that we wanted to go for is talking about the fact that it's safe, but it is also breezy as well. This was actually one of the top performers, I think, just because it's an interesting standout image. And most, again, this is from researching the customer and what they like, and there's so many groups with riders in the UK who talk about the fact that they want to just ride in t-shirt and jeans in the summer. Feels amazing, but it's just very unsafe if you come off the bike with that stuff on. So we link that into the ads here with a bit of a how it looks versus how it feels, which is going to resonate massively with that audience, and did. And then similarly, feel the breeze, keep the protection, the safe and affordable summer suit. So we're going more on the fact that it's very low price compared to competitors. And then similarly with the us versus them style that we did with these guys, just highlighting information that motorbike riders are going to be interested in, which is the safety rating, waterproof rating, customer reviews and price. And we're just going to show off the fact that this suit, which is much, much cheaper, is almost, well, probably is better than this very expensive top brand suit. Obviously, you don't want to use actual brand names because you get in trouble for that. So you'll go through that process and build the actual ads themselves based on the competitor research, what's working well for competitors, what's running for a long time, and also all of the information that you've gathered from customer research. So there might be specific little things that you pull out of customer reviews about products, which actually lends itself very well to a specific messaging for ads. So for example, we had one client which was a beauty brand, and they sell like these silk scrunchies which are made out of pure silk, and essentially they're much more expensive than obviously basic cheap elastic scrunchies. And we found consistently throughout the reviews there's people saying these are so expensive but they're just well worth it, or this is really expensive but I don't buy the cheap ones anymore. And that became the impetus for a specific creative messaging test that we ran for that client, which ultimately was extremely profitable and successful, where we just basically feeding back to customers what they're already thinking about this product, which is, yeah, it is expensive, we're not shying away from that, but you won't buy the cheap ones anymore. And that worked very well as well. So generally what we'd suggest is 3 angles, and again that's in the creative document here. So it says to go through, choose 3 different ad angles, but whatever pops up in the competitor research that you've gone through and from the customer reviews, you select the top 3 ad styles that mirror what's working well for competitors and what customers are talking about. So if customers are all talking about the features and how good the features of the product are, features point out ads are going to be the way to go. So you'll pick 3 angles. So that'll be features point out, UGC, us versus them, and you'll make 3 different variations for each one of those angles. So you'll have 3 us versus them ads, you'll have 3 different UGC ads, 3 different features point out style ads. So we'll get onto the actual structure of this testing campaign in the ads manager a little bit later on, but I want to cover all of the creative process first, so that you know what you're doing with the creatives, how you actually follow through on this and create those ads themselves and the ad copy. So the next thing after you've designed the ads, you're going to go for the ad copy, so the copywriting, and it's going to be 4 unique primary texts and 4 unique headlines. They will all be added into every ad. So to go back to the template that we've got, once you've gone through the adding in the different angles, displaying them in there. Then you get onto the copywriting. So copywriting wise, it's something that you can basically outsource to ChatGPT now. There are specific layouts and structures that we like to use. So again, in this template, if you want, what you can do is copy this, get into ChatGPT, I'll just paste it in there, and then say, can you rewrite this ad copy in the same format and structure, but for this product and brand? So this is obviously irrelevant to your product and brand. So what you can do is put this prompt in, can you rewrite this copy in the same format and structure, but for this product and brand? And then what you do is just copy and paste your product and brand in there. So for example, this one for Dr. Squanch. So we'll pop that in there. And essentially what this ad copy does, or this variation of ad copy, is follow a very specific structure where we have a desire prompt. Do you want whatever the customer desires that the product will deliver, all while looking something that's very easy. And then it's usually all you need, a little preview about the company. So company's 100% pure mulberry silk, reduces hair damage, all features. Then it gives them a straight instruction, which is what they actually need to do to buy this. So simply go to our website and order today, and then another little benefit. So wave goodbye to hair tangles. Then we'll do some features, benefits, but we'll put the actual benefit first, and then how that is a benefit after, which I find works better than doing the feature first. So the benefit of the feature is all day hold, and then the actual feature itself is explained later. And then we have like a decent testimonial at the bottom, and then a call to action. So you put in this prompt, as I said, can you rewrite this ad copy in the same format and structure, but for this product and brand? Put in your product page there, hit enter, and essentially ChatGPT will just rewrite this using the Dr. Squanch page as an example. And you'll see that it follows the same layout and structure, which we've found is a good style, good flow to actually test, and works quite well. So do you want to stay fresh, confident, smelling amazing, all while taking care of your skin the natural way? So you can see it's the exact same style as this. Do you want to keep your hair healthy, blah, blah, blah. But it's all with relevant information for that product. So that's an extremely way to do your ad copy. And feel free to come into this document template, and you can just take the 4 primary texts, copy and paste them into ChatGPT, and then just say, yeah, rewrite this with using this product page information. And that'll be all of your ad copy done. Same exact process you can do with headlines. So you just copy all of these headlines in, go into ChatGPT, rewrite these 3-4 headlines with this page link. Or you can do ad copy yourself by linking it to what you've actually gone through in the competitor research. So again, if you've got a really specific angle about the fact that it's, like that example of it's an expensive product but it's well worth it, then you might want to tailor the ad copy specifically to that creative. But I generally leave that for further down the line when you start really getting granular with the creative testing. At this stage, we just want to throw out 9 different ads, 3 different angles, all the same copy for every ad, but there's 4 variations of the copy which Meta will automatically change, which I'll show you in the campaign setup in a minute. And then from that creative test, we'll then iterate on what's worked well, and if it's a specific angle that's worked well from the ads, then we might change the ad copy to match that and see if we can get better results that way. But that would be the ad copy, the creative, all done. So you've done the copywriting, you've done the ad design, so you've now got 9 ads, you've got all the copywriting. So then it's the campaign build. How do we actually structure the Meta account in 2024, 2025 to test these creatives? So I'll show you inside an example account. So you're obviously going to hit create, you'll click sales campaign, continue, and then you're going to select manual sales campaign. And then that will open a new sales campaign for you. So generally name-wise, conventions, prospecting, testing, and then the date, which is 9/12/2024. So you put that's the naming convention we use, just keeps everything clean. We know it's testing, we know it's prospecting, it's going to be a broad audience. Sales, that's all you need to do though. We're not going to use Advantage campaign budget, we're going to use ABO. I'll explain that in a sec. And then the ad set name is going to be test, whatever test it is. This will be test 1, us versus them. So we know at a glance, this ad set contains all of our tests for us versus them ads. It's going to be maximize number of conversions, pixel, you select that pixel, purchase. You shouldn't have any warning there. This is just a example account. Nothing that you need to change here until you get to daily budget. I'd recommend, obviously budget depends on your own campaigns and how much you've got to spend. I'd recommend a minimum of £20 a day, absolute bare minimum, to get a decent creative test with 3 ads inside that. So we'll leave it at 20 for now, but obviously it depends on your budget. Audience wise, I would leave everything as it is unless you're targeting a specific location. So if you're targeting, for example, Manchester in the UK, and that's only where your product or service can be delivered, set it accordingly. But if it's if you're targeting the nationwide, like the whole of America, the whole of UK, whatever, I would just change the country to where you're targeting and leave Advantage audience, leave placements automatic. That's literally all you need to change in here is the location and daily budget. Then you're into the actual ads themselves. So again, we would, naming convention for this would be V1 us versus them. So we know this is version 1 of 3 of the us versus them ads. And then you would just go in and build your ad in here. I'm not going to go through all that in this video. But you'll upload your creative, add your product page URL or wherever you're directing traffic. Usually it's product page, maybe collection page. And then add in all of your ad copy that you've already done in your template there. Then it's a very simple process of you just quickly duplicate. So it duplicates everything of that ad, and then all you need to do is go in and change, click on the creative, change the actual image or text. Also, you need to remember that your images, so when you create images in 1x1 square, you also need to make a variation in 9x16 for every ad that you create for stories and reels. So once you've added in the new image and the 9x16 version for that ad, you're then going to just quickly duplicate again. Obviously change the names for these as well. So this would be version 3. Check that out. And then this would be version 2. Get rid of that. So that's your first test. So it's ABO, you've got a specific budget run into it, so you can force the spend into those creatives. Obviously Meta will choose which one of those 3 they think's best, and that will probably get most of the budget. But then you have granular data, so you know this test has done this amount of sales or this amount of leads or whatever, and you can either scale the budget on that one or turn it off if it's not performing, etc. So that's why we do the ABO for testing. And then you're going to quickly duplicate the entire ad set, and then same process, you'll just change the name. So this one would then become test 2, and let's say it was UGC. And then you would replace all of the ads in there with the UGC testing ads, and then duplicate again. And that will be test 3. And let's say that one was features point out, and then you replace all of those ads with features point outs. That's it. That's the exact testing structure, campaign structure that we use at the minute. So you'll have one campaign, which is your prospecting testing. It's going to be an ABO, and then inside that you're going to have 3 ad sets: test 1, test 2, test 3, and you're going to have daily budget for each test, so £20 a day minimum. And then inside each actual test, you're going to have 3 different ads, and that's good to go. Then you're going to launch, and you have individual data for each test, so you know us versus them's doing really well, features point out is doing really badly, we'll turn that off. UGC might be doing really well, you scale that up. And to scale it, essentially, you're just going to increase the daily budget. So if it's on £20 a day, it's getting decent results for 3 or 4 days, increase it by 20%. If the results maintain, increase it again. So let me show you inside an actual live ad account where we've gone through this process, so you can see how it actually looks when the results are live. Right, so this is a live account showing the same exact testing structure that I've just shown you there. So you can see this is all the stuff they were running before we started, and it's, you know, video traffic, retargeting, none of that works anymore, no point, post, giveaway, whatever. And then here's our campaign here, prospecting testing, one campaign running since October. If we go inside this campaign, you'll see exactly what I said. So these are all daily budgets. We've got test 5, video ads, test 6, testimonial ads, test 4, etc. So what we do is look at results. So we've got this campaign, which has done 229, which is obviously the top performing. Jesus. 3.67 ROAS, £12.85 per sale. So that's extremely profitable because this product is 80 quid, I think. So that test has worked really well, but it obviously wasn't the first test that we launched. I think the first test that we launched would have been testimonial or review features, which have done very bad. You just turn it off, move on to a new test based on the learnings that you get. So it might be the case that from the initial video ads, actually it was the case, from the initial video ads, we saw that they were doing quite well, but they were quite poor quality videos. So we commissioned some UGC from obviously someone called Lisa, and that's become the top performing test. So we've got 2 variations in there, and obviously cost per result, extremely good, ROAS really good for this client. But what we'll do inside this campaign is, now we've only got 2 tests live. So what needs to happen inside this campaign is we need to always have at least 3 tests at this budget level anyway, at least 3 tests. So based on the learnings from these previous tests and the active ones, we'll develop a new creative test to actually launch into this campaign. And the way we do that is just duplicate one of the ad sets, rename it test 6, test 7, whatever it is, drop the new creatives in there, and then set it live with its own daily budget, 20, 30, 50 pound, whatever it is. And then we scale up as it gets decent results, or turn it off if they're crap. So you can see we started most of these on £20 a day. This one's now up to £85 a day. This one's on £40 a day. That's the exact process of how we set up the creative tests. So then if we go back to our checklist, we've done the copywriting, we've done the campaign build out, simple, just one campaign, ABO, 3 ad sets, 3 ads in each ad set. Each ad set is its own test. We run it, see what happens, analyze the results. We look at what worked. Worked means it got the results that you want. If it didn't work. You look at the analytics. Was there any decent comments on a particular ad? It might have bad performance, but the comments are quite positive. You can look at iterating based on those things. The number one thing that you want to iterate on is the ads that actually work, that are successful, profitable. You want to scale those up and then make variations of those. So for us in that campaign I just showed, UGC worked really well. So what we would do is look at what content is in the UGC, what style, what does it feature, and then look to replicate that with another creator that's very similar, or even get the same creator and just change the angle slightly and see if that works. Everything goes off what actual results that you got from the ads that you run and the creative tests. So nothing is wasted when you're testing in this way, because even the ads that don't work, that get turned off, for example, features reviews ads, there might be some stuff in there. If we looked at for example, the engagement, so we've got comments on there, so it could have been the case that we learned something from the comments. It might be the case that people were asking, what's the price? Maybe we didn't have the price on there, so then we changed the ad copy to add the price in. Or this one, test 6, Abigail UGC, that one obviously didn't work, so we can cross-reference that UGC with this UGC and say, why did this one work, but this one didn't work? You will get learnings from that, and that's how you then go on to iterate, create new tests. So you'll create another 3 variations with a new angle or a variation of an angle that worked, launch it as your ABO back into the testing campaign, and you just keep that going. Scale up the ones that are working, turn off the ones that aren't. Winning ones will eventually die and you'll have to turn them off, which is why you need to constantly keep testing new creatives, new ad sets with 3 variations in there. Depending on your budget, if you're spending more than £200 to £1,000 a day, then obviously you can increase the number, and you must increase the number of creative tests that you're doing. That client is a good example probably for people watching this of spending maybe like 2-3k per month. So you want to keep everything at £20 a day. If it's successful, you scale it up. If it's not, turn it off and replace it with a new test. And it is basically as simple as that. That's the creative test done. So the template, this one, where you can copy the ad copy, look at the structure and all that stuff, and the market and fact find sheet of questions that you need to answer to know the customer, I'll leave in the description. But yeah, that's it. So that is how I test ads on Facebook. That's the structure that we use. That's from the very beginning, how we go from understanding the product, the customer, looking at what competitors are doing, pooling all that information together to give us enough framework, grounding, foundation, whatever you want to call it, to then actually create ads that are going to have a good chance of doing well right off the bat. And most of the creative tests that we launch using this process, we will get at least one creative test that does well, which will allow us to iterate for the next two that are going to do well, and so on. So there you go. Hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions about that structure or any other specifics about what I've gone through in the video, just leave them in the comments and I'll reply to you there.